this to the casualty figures from Vietnam. Many young Americans are so sick of this squalid adventure. They spend their lives in flight and in fear than in conventional comforts. Right now, some 23,000 American soldiers have been classified as deserters. That's more than a full division. The desertion rate is 3 times what it was during the Korean War and has tripled in the past 3 years. Some 56,600 deserted during the fiscal year, which ended June 30th. And 10% of the 1.5 million men on active duty went AWOL. Each day, 500 soldiers, most of them based in the U.S., go over the hill. A lot of the deserters and AWOL soldiers come back, but the others are gone, moving around America, hiding out, worried about pursuit, assuming everything that made them in the first years of their lives. When they die, they will not be buried under their own name. It is a terrible thing to be young in a bad time. And why should we be surprised? The government of the United States seems to have decided that it has lost a generation. It promises not to respond to the 500,000 who assembled last weekend in Washington. And it must know that those people and the soldiers it conscripts to fight its wars are the same age. They have passed through the same things: rock music, pop, public violence, the promise of revolution. Richard Nixon,
the building which houses the ROTC offices on the SIU campus, resembled an occupied fortress for a brief time this afternoon. The SIU security police, on Chancellor McVicker's orders, pulled back and allowed 200 students to occupy the building. The occupation was allowed on the grounds that the students had only peaceful intentions and simply wanted a place to speak. That promise meant little. Students built barricades at many doors and windows in anticipation of confrontation. Destruction in the building was widespread. Many files were ransacked and doors broken open. The ROTC files, however, were removed from the building before the trouble began. At first, the breakage was limited and only mild damage occurred. But when the students decided to clear the building, the situation reversed. A fire was set in the office of Air Force Instructor Major England. Scattered papers on the floor started to burn, and it was only the quick reactions of some other students, student body President Dwight Campbell included, that prevented the blaze from spreading. The students turned to breaking anything nearby. Windows near my head were hit by bricks and shattered around me. Protesters grabbed anything not tied down and threw it. Weather Hall now resembles a tornado-struck building. Files are overturned, windows smashed, chairs scattered, doors broken. No one is brave enough yet to estimate the total damage. Finally, above my head is a scrawled word in red. It says peace. This is Richard Riemann reporting for WSIU from Weather Hall.
Portions of a crowd that were at a rally in front of Morris Library are now sitting peaceably at the corners of Main and Illinois in downtown Carbondale. The leaders have told them to remain there, to chant certain slogans, and not to cause any trouble because the police won't bother them. Evidently, the police are not going to bother them. This reporter talked with a few policemen on the scene. They said they get their orders from the main police station and that nothing has been told them yet. It seems as though traffic is also being rerouted before it gets to the corners of Maine and Illinois, so that no obstructions have been committed. Fortunately for the demonstrators, the rest of the traffic coming up Illinois Avenue and Maine Avenues from the western portion of Carbondale is not too busy at night, so that no other inconvenience is caused the citizens of Carbondale. Evidently, the protesters will be able to make their point with National Guard helicopters circling overhead for safety precaution. From Maine and Illinois in downtown Carbondale, this is Dan T. Pasek for WSIU News.
We have been told that the National Guard are definitely over there, and they're getting ready possibly to go with tear gas. You guys better be ready to move out.
Okay,
But don't go spreading that around.
Somebody's running.
Somebody's already running.
The crowd's beginning to disperse.
They don't have a handkerchief.
They're on their way. They're moving up this way. Look.
Tell everybody to get a handkerchief or something. If anybody's going to rip off the tail of your shirt or something, take your shirt off.
Uh-oh, gas.
Tear gas and been shot.
Get inside, BC, close the door. Gas has just been thrown. I see it. It is on the corner of Maine and Illinois. Ray is getting into a booth. BC is in here with me. Gas has been thrown. There's another canister. Another canister. 2 canisters of gas have been thrown. They have landed on Illinois, about halfway between Monroe and Maine.
Where we go?
I don't know. I got to get something over my mouth now. All right. The state police are now on the corner of Maine and Illinois, and they have tear gas, and they are in the... They're just walking around. They're on the corner now. The demonstrators are scattered. This is starting to come to me now.
Okay, get out of here.
Beforehand, their escape routes would be south and east. And then a fly around. And out went the tear gas. The demonstrators are running now. More reports later on. This is Alan Krause for WSIU News. It is one of almost unbelievable chaos. The tear gas has hit. The demonstrators are sick. The gas is called CS6, which makes you sick from 6 to 8 hours. The demonstrators are moving now south. The police are giving chase. The National Guard is stationed where the demonstrators used to be, on the corner of Maine and University. And they're moving down the street, going east. This is Alan Krause for WSIU News.
There's somebody injured here because of the tear gas. All of Allen 1 and Allen 2 is completely filled with tear gas right now. People are standing outside of the building with wet rags, wet handkerchiefs, towels over their mouths and faces, and that's the report. This is Howard Crowley, WIVB News.
This is Frank going back in the studio. We just had a report from over the telephone. Chancellor and Speaker has announced there will be classes tomorrow. There will be classes on Friday. And continuing now with more news. There was a report, unconfirmed report as of yet, that Snyder Hall has also just been hit with tear gas. Which portion of Snyder Hall and which floors we do not know. Also, resident councilor of Boomer, Sam Baker, has announced that most, if not all, of the residents of Allen Hall will be moving into Boomer Hall tonight. Let us repeat, if you're in the dorm, stay in the dorm. If you can get to somebody who is outside, please bring them in. This is Frank Gordon for WIVB News.
A few demonstrators ran in the building, and police, forced by state police cars, fired 10 tear gas canisters into the building. They were firing them through second and first floor windows, into the hallways on both the first and second floor. All the residents were forced to evacuate.
When a few of the residents asked the police for help, they said they were too busy now and they would come back later. Finally, a few of the residents called the health service, and a health service truck came over to rescue them. This is John McDermott for WSIU News.
We are not a super race of righteous people. We commit more heinous crimes in our name today than any other country on the face of the globe during a similar period. We are engaged in indecencies at home and abroad. We murder, and lie, and cheat, and steal. And we train at this university policemen for use in ghettos in other places. We do all of these things. And yet we have this unbounded belief that we cannot turn into Nazis and stormtroopers. Well, the Germans believe that they too have that concept and that belief, that they would not become beasts, and overnight they became beasts. There is one overriding aspect to all of this, and I guess it's that you, and when I say you, I mean me and everybody else, that in any way feel that we live in a sad and indecent and tragic country, that in any way feel that there must be a way to change it. There must be a way, whether by revolution, rebellion, resistance, or what have you, but there must be a way to make a better life. It is important that we stay together, not on any ideological concept, that's impossible, or anything strategic or tactical, that's impossible, but that we stay together and recognize that repression is a mutual common enemy, and that we be determined that if there be any repression to anybody, it does not matter whether we agree with them ideologically, or politically, or emotionally, or strategically, that they are whether people or they are the liberals. It makes no difference. If anybody left of that center line is oppressed, in court or out, then we must in some way respond. And you must respond locally, not nationally. You must respond locally to the situations that are within your power to control. We will never be able to mount a national effort. National efforts result in marches on Washington, which are pleasant and make you feel that we're in the majority for a moment. But in the end, we dissipate and leave, and things are as they were. But locally, on campuses like these, you have power, easy communication, similarity of interest, youth, and energy. And you have visible known enemies, whether they be the Vietnamese center or the oppression of the Black Panther Party, or the attempt to prevent the formation and effectuation of a public interest corporation to handle legal events. You have enemies. You must in some way get together and operate against them.
baby.
The best kids of this generation don't buy a lot of what passes officially for government in this country anymore. And that could be our most enduring tragedy. These young people are not traitors. They just believe that the basic principles of the country have been defiled. Nixon grew up sniffing out communists. But these people will not fold up the way the leftists of Nixon's generation folded. The terrible thing is that we might never have anyone as good as them again in this century.
WITB Carbondale is together.